There was a comment under one of my previous videos from a Polish immigrant, saying something like, oh, it used to be good, now it's hard to get a job, or definitely hard to get a well-paid job in the UK. And I don't think it's the case. I don't think it's completely true. It's definitely harder, but there's lots of reasons for it. It's not just the immigrants, tech, the economy, all of it, right? But I just want to remind everyone, especially ones who hasn't been here long enough in the UK, what it used to be not that long time ago. When I came to UK in 2010, it literally took me 2 months of really hard working, right, hard looking, to get a bicycle courier self-employed job. Yes, self-employed gig economy worker thing in some little company which doesn't even exist anymore, to be a bicycle courier with my own bicycle, my own gear, all of it. And it took me 2 months, right? When I came to England, it was so hard to get a job. Yeah, they were Polish immigrants or whatever, immigrants from everywhere with diplomas, you know, after uni, really like engineers or doctors, trying to get a job in the restaurant to be a waiter or I don't know, the kitchen helper. Like really, you couldn't. I remember I was trying to apply, you know, I was applying for this courier job, so even like a kitchen porter stuff, and they were all asking for experience. Like, can you believe it now? Now it's, you can't, can you? You've had to have an experience washing dishes to get a job washing dishes, okay? Same with a courier experience. So I don't think it's as bad as some people say. It was definitely harder when I came to England. And I think it's going to get harder, don't get me wrong, but it's just the way it is. It's not just this particular time and you're just unlucky. And to give you something good about this, that time when it was really hard, it built my character, but it also made me more creative about how to apply for the job, how to get a job. So I'll tell you the story quickly, how I actually got my first courier job. Well, actually second. The first one was, I got the first job with the guy who never paid me, basically. I worked there for like 2 weeks. He didn't pay me. I left. I couldn't speak English. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even sue him or anything. I just left. I told him to stick a finger in his, you know, where, and I didn't say it because I couldn't in English. But that's how I thought about it. That's how I felt about him. And I basically moved on to find another job. I still remember when I was like sitting by the river, by the Thames River, Friday, opening a can of beer, and like, shit, man, 2 weeks, worked for the guy, he didn't pay me, and I was like really low on money. I came to England with £200 on the bicycle, so I was like living on £1 a day, eating biscuits from Tesco's basically, and whatever I could get from somebody. But that was the first job, okay, so that's not even a job really. The first real paid job was after this 2 months of trying different things, you know, approaches and applying for jobs. I basically went to this company and I said to them, look, I don't have experience, I get it, but if you give me a chance, I prove I will not disappoint, okay? Because I knew myself, I can work hard, and I was really almost desperate, right? Because I had very little money left, and back then, at least I didn't know about options. So if you didn't have money, you had to go back, which is again is how it should work. But anyway, that's for a different video. And I said to them, look, give me a 1 week. I work for free. Yes, I said that. You see, that's the difference between wanting something and talking about equality and all this, okay? If you have no money, if you have no food, there's no equality. You just want to get a job. You do whatever it takes. So I decided to offer myself for free. In my broken English, standing there, I remember talking to this guy through a little courier window, goods in. And he looked at me like I'm a kind of nutter, that English guy. And I think that made him an impression, because like, okay, wait a minute. He went back to somewhere, talked to his manager or boss, came back to me. So I'm climbing up the hill. Maybe you can't see it, that's why I'm running out of short breath a little bit and talking. And he said to me, okay, come back tomorrow. We're going to do the test. And I had to do a geographical knowledge test for London. So you can imagine somebody coming from Poland. I didn't even know what postcodes were at the time. And I was about to do the test of how well I know central London. Didn't know anything. But I called it a big win. So I said, oh my God, I have like an interview, right? The first one. Because all that they were just ghosting me basically. So I tried to study that day. But if you know London, like you can't, right? I eventually managed to know all the streets, get to know all the streets in London. I now forgot all of it, but within 2-3 years, I learned all of it, right? But so I went to this interview, and I was prepared to cheat. Right? So I said I would do anything, whatever, just to get a job, so I don't have to go back, and I can just start my life, making real money. And I had this little A to Z map. If you don't know what it is, it was like paper map. That was before Google Maps, and mobile phones were dumb phones. And I remember they put me into this room. They gave me these few paper sheets, test. And I done this test. They left me on my own in this room. I think they wanted me to cheat. They were like, oh God, right. Let's just give him a chance. Let's not destroy the guy completely, right? By telling him he knows nothing. And I did this test completely wrong. But I did it. And I think they were just doing it for the sake of doing it. And they said, okay, that's fine, well done, you can start tomorrow. And I got this job, right? And this is what it took me to get the job. Bicycle courier, self-employed delivery guy. That's it. It's not like, that's not the best you can, imagine, right? Coming to England. No, that's how I started. And of course it was very hard because they gave me a radio, that walkie-talkie. And I had this Cockney, Cockney speaking controller. So wherever there was a job for me to do, he would call me on the radio. My call sign was 107. He would say 107, 107. Then I would answer that much I could understand. Then I would answer 107, and then he would like the Cockney English with details where to go, etc. Right? There was no maps, Google Maps, or anything. I was just, what did you just say? And I was I wouldn't even ask what he said. I said, Roger, and it wasn't Roger. I didn't know. So it took me like a month to get this going, and I had to go to the office a couple of times. Like, this is the last time, Alex. If you don't understand, just say it. Don't say Roger if you're not Roger. And it was tough. It was tough. I had to do so much and go through all this. In my head, it was like humiliation, right? Because they were treating me like an idiot. Not because I was an idiot, but they had to in order for me to understand it. But it was me like, it was burning me from inside. But I had to do it this way. So if you think it's hard now because you got this job which pays you not as much as you would want to be paid, I can tell you there were much worse times, not a long time ago. Not to mention, if you're Polish, ask your mum or your grandparents what it was like in Poland 20, 30, 50 years ago, right? Or 40 years ago. Or ask anyone, even in England, in the 50s. So things were not like this, okay? We had a really good run over the last few years. And yeah, this run is finished the way it was. So get ready for a change, but it's definitely not that bad. So I would encourage you to maybe re-examine your expectations, get more faith, do something about your life. If you're not sure what to do, give me a follow, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try to share some of my tips and knowledge, what to do if you're an immigrant, even if a native. And just don't despair. Keep smiling, keep believing in yourself, and just enjoy your life, live your life. Life is just life. Sometimes up, sometimes down, but it's never that bad, okay? Right, if you like the video, please leave me a like, consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for your time and your support, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.